The road stretched forward like a promise that kept changing its mind. Sometimes it shimmered with hope, sometimes it sagged under the weight of distance. For Amir, it had become both a path and a test. He had started before dawn, the sky still bruised purple, his old motorcycle humming beneath him with a sound he trusted more than its appearance deserved. The journey mattered. He was carrying documents that could decide whether his small tailoring shop would survive another year. The city office was far away, and missing the deadline was not an option. The motorcycle coughed just as the sun began to climb. Amir slowed, coaxing the throttle gently, whispering encouragement like one might to a tired horse. The engine responded with another sputter and then, finally, silence. The road answered with quiet too. No shops. No houses. Just dust, wind, and a line of hills watching him without sympathy. He stood there for a moment, helmet in his hands, letting the reality settle. Pushing the bike was possible, but the next town was miles away. His phone had 1 bar of signal and 10% battery, enough to tease him with possibility but not enough to save him. He tried the ignition again, hope flickering stubbornly, but the bike refused to listen. As he sat on the roadside, the heat began to gather, the kind that crept under clothes and into thoughts. Amir wiped his face with his sleeve and laughed quietly, not because anything was funny, but because sometimes laughter was easier than despair. He thought of his father, who used to say that the road never takes without giving something back, even if you don't recognize it at first. A bus roared past, wind and dust slapping him in the face. It didn't slow. A truck followed, then a car, each one shrinking into the distance. Amir raised a hand half-heartedly, unsure whether he was asking for help or just acknowledging their existence. His shoulders slumped. After some time, he heard footsteps on gravel. Turning, he saw an elderly man walking steadily along the edge of the road, a cloth bag slung over one shoulder, sandals worn thin by years of similar journeys. The man's beard was white, his eyes clear and curious. "You look like the road has argued with you," the man said, stopping a few steps away. Amir smiled despite himself. "It won," he replied, gesturing to the silent motorcycle. The man nodded as if this were a familiar story. He crouched, examining the bike with interest, touching the engine casing, listening as Amir explained what had happened. He didn't pretend to know more than he did. Instead, he asked questions carefully, as though the answers mattered. "I'm not a mechanic," the man said at last, straightening with a grunt. "But I know someone who might be. My nephew has a small workshop in the village ahead." Amir's heart lifted, then sank again. "It's far," he said. "And I don't want to trouble you." The man waved a hand dismissively. "Trouble is when kindness is wasted," he said. "This will not be wasted." They began walking together, Amir pushing the motorcycle slowly while the man matched his pace. The road felt less heavy with someone else on it. The old man spoke about small things, the crops that had failed and then succeeded, the way the wind changed direction in the afternoons, the joy of hearing children laugh even when the world felt unkind. Amir listened, grateful for the distraction, for the reminder that life was larger than his immediate worry. After nearly an hour, the village appeared like a cluster of thoughts made solid. A few shops, a tea stall, the workshop just as the man had promised. The nephew was younger, grease-stained and serious, but his eyes softened when he heard the story. He worked quickly, hands confident, tools singing their metallic song. The problem was small, a loose connection, nothing that couldn't be fixed. Amir watched with relief so sharp it almost hurt. When the engine finally purred back to life, he felt something loosen in his chest that he hadn't realized was tight. "How much do I owe you?" Amir asked, reaching for his wallet. The nephew shook his head. "You owe my uncle a safe journey," he said. "That's enough." Amir turned to thank the old man, but he was already stepping away, adjusting his bag. "The road is long," he said over his shoulder. "It's good to help each other rest on it." Before Amir could say more, a woman from the tea stall approached, holding a glass of water and a piece of flatbread. "For the road," she said simply, pressing them into his hands. Her kindness felt quiet and unquestioning, as though it were the most natural thing in the world. Amir ate and drank, feeling strength return in small, grateful waves. He thanked them all, his words clumsy with emotion. As he rode away, the village receded behind him, but something of it stayed. Not long after, the sky darkened unexpectedly. Clouds gathered, heavy and sudden, and rain began to fall in earnest. The road slicked over, the world narrowing to the sound of water and the shine of wet asphalt. Amir slowed, cautious now, mindful of how fragile plans could be. Ahead, he saw a figure standing beside a car pulled to the shoulder, hazard lights blinking like nervous eyes. He hesitated. Time mattered. His destination waited. But memory nudged him forward. He stopped. The driver was a young woman, frustration written plainly across her face. "A flat tire," she explained, her voice tight with worry. She had tried calling for help, but the signal here was weak. Amir looked at the tire, then at the sky. He had changed tires before, not expertly, but enough. "I can help," he said, surprising himself with how easily the words came. They worked together in the rain, hands slipping, laughter breaking through the inconvenience. It wasn't perfect or fast, but it was enough. When the spare was secured and the car ready to move, the woman thanked him, her relief bright. "You saved me," she said. Amir shook his head. "I was helped today," he replied. "I'm just passing it on." He rode on as the rain eased, the clouds thinning to reveal pale light. The rest of the journey unfolded without incident. When he finally reached the city office, wet and tired but on time, the clerk accepted his documents with a nod. The weight he had been carrying lifted. That evening, as Amir rode home, the road felt different. Still long, still unpredictable, but kinder somehow. He thought of the old man, the mechanic, the woman with the flat tire. None of them had done anything extraordinary, yet each small act had shifted the course of his day, perhaps his year. When he reached his neighborhood, he noticed a boy struggling to carry a heavy box. Amir stopped, lifted it easily, and walked the short distance to the boy's door. The boy's smile was quick and bright, a spark that warmed something deep inside Amir. As he finally parked his motorcycle and turned off the engine, the silence felt companionable rather than lonely. The road had taken its share from him, but it had also given back, just as his father had said. Amir understood now that kindness didn't always arrive loudly or all at once. Sometimes it came as a little help on a long road, enough to keep you moving forward, enough to remind you that you were never truly traveling alone.